So, talking about the latest developments in the news. First, I want to say that, as I've said before, appeasement politics. Appeasement, when you try to appease people, it may work in some cases, but appeasement doesn't work when you're dealing with someone with a bully mentality. You can't appease a bully and the bully will stop. I always use the schoolyard bully. If you see the schoolyard bully that is bullying somebody, even the target, the victim, if the victim begs and begs, the bully doesn't stop. It's until the victim stands up for himself or herself one day and holds his or her ground or fights back. That's when the bully backs off. So appeasement doesn't work with people who have bully mentality. Look at what is happening with the PDP. Yesterday, I saw the press release that was released by the FCT Minister, Wike, saying that he has pulled out of all the agreements that he had with governors of the PDP and other key stakeholders of the PDP, that is no longer going to follow those agreements that he's pulling out. It's funny. Wike, the PDP has been doing politics of appeasement. Key PDP stakeholders, they are trying to appease Wike. They're trying to be on his good side, hoping that maybe somehow, someday, it's going to favor them. And that hasn't happened because of this bully mentality that I mentioned. Now, for PDP, for many years, Wike was a strong man in PDP. And it happens with PDP. PDP was in power for 16 years. But the thing is that PDP, you notice that when somebody leaves power in PDP, when Obasanjo left power, he couldn't maintain control of PDP. When he left, when Yaradua came in and all that, after a while, Obasanjo was pushed aside. He wasn't in charge of PDP. Then Yaradua died, Jonathan era. When Jonathan left, Jonathan was not in charge of PDP. The people that should be leading the PDP, the former leaders, they are not in charge of PDP. Because PDP has a way of trying to push away people who are past leaders, previous leaders, and new people trying to assert themselves. And now, after the Jonathan era, who are the key stakeholders in the PDP? If you notice, from before 2019 elections, who were the key stakeholders in the PDP? Atiku Abubakar is an election politician. He focuses on election. He wants to become president. And so Atiku Abubakar in 2015 was in APC. He tried to get the ticket in APC in 2015. He didn't succeed. Buhari won. And after which, he came back to PDP and got the ticket in 2019. After the 2019 elections, we didn't hear much from Atiku until getting around the time of preparing for the 2023 elections. So he's an election politician. He has not been a steady hand in PDP. So for a long time, Wike was the main person that was allegedly bankrolling and supporting key members of the PDP elections and all that. So a lot of leaders in the PDP, they owe him a lot for what he did when he was actively supporting PDP. Now, Wike was doing all this so that he could get the ticket in 2023 to run for president. And unfortunately, Atiku came in, played his politics, and Atiku got it in place of Wike. And since then, Wike has never, forgiven or forgotten that situation. And so, since Wike lost that primary before the 2023 election, he has actively worked against the interest of the PDP. And now the PDP is like a shadow of itself. The PDP holds a lot of gratitude to Wike for the things he did prior to that 2023. And so because of all of that, and now because of the influence he has being the FCT minister and being a close ally of President Tinubu, people are trying to appease him. Those appeasements are not going to work. It's high time. It should have been high time before now, where the PDP governors and stakeholders should stand up for themselves. If they really want to be in an opposition party, then you stand up. You can't allow someone who, was a strong man in the party and now is now playing obvious anti-party activity to now hold sway. Because this person has a bully mentality. And so you're not going to continually appease him. And now you see Bukola Saraki going around as part of the committee met to reconcile members of the party. You see other key stakeholders going around. And yet you see Wike coming out and making statements. And it's obvious that, at the end, what Wike says may be what goes. So appeasement doesn't work. And it's high time that the PDP, they stand up for themselves. Now we see what's happening with Fubara. After the reports, we heard that Fubara went to plead with Wike. It was Nedan was begging. I listened to what Fubara said. I think it was a Thanksgiving something. It was a ceremony or something. It's obvious that Fubara has been weakened. With this suspension he had, with the military coming to River State, with him being held at least hostage for a while, and all that, it seems he's scared. He keeps talking about how he has to take care of his family and all that. And so now, Fubara is now doing appeasement, which I think it's a mistake, because if you're trying to appease people who are bullies, it's not going to work. It would have been better that he hold his ground, even if it ends up not returning to power. But at least it should be known that when he was in power, these are some of the things he did. Somebody who can stand up for himself and things like that. Appeasement doesn't work.